guys and dolls, cats and kittens. How are you all? I've missed you very much. I'm so sorry I went away without being able to say anything. I was just getting piled on with real life so quickly and so heavily that all I could do was focus on the task in front of me at the time. And I don't know how many of you guys have been put in that position, but I definitely took it as a challenge from the universe to see how interested I was in doing this class because I'm funny like that. I figure something you really want is usually pretty hard. In addition to that, my job, oh my gosh, it's always been challenging. But these new changes that they made had me under such stress, I was unable to focus on anything else because if I don't have a job, I basically don't have anything else. And so I had to learn how to reorganize my thinking, get with the program. I'm a little bit of a rebel, but in this instance, I had to like get myself focused and not be so rebelly and kind of go with the flow of the program to succeed at what I need to do. And then I can focus on what I need to do as far as my spirit goes. And that's doing this channel. So, with that all being said, I hope you guys have done well out there. I know this year has been trying for so many of us in so many different ways. Makes me just crazy. With that being said, I'm happy to say that the game is afoot. So let's get into it. I definitely have done some research, so this has been helpful, but I'm going to make it bigger than I thought too, which is good because it's a good way to come back, get all my information out there. So what I want to do is start with some of my past cases and see if I've got gleaned any new information that I can update you all with, which is always fun for me to do when I watch my other channels like Stephanie Harlow. She's one of my favorite, but there's a lot of girls and other guys out there that I like to watch crime with. I've definitely tried to keep up on that and, all the new techniques and everything going on. But enough blabbering, let's get with it. The first case I want to talk about is Michelle Go. Michelle Go was about 40 years old. She had just celebrated her 40th birthday, and she worked for a consulting firm, Deloitte, I guess. I don't know. And she was an avid volunteer at the New York Junior League, a women's organization. Sounds exciting. New York in general. Simon Marshall accused of killing Michelle Go after shoving her in front of an oncoming subway train, not just any train. She was there waiting, and he just came along and forced her out onto the track in front of the train, and that was enough to cause, life damage to her. When he was found to be unfit to stand trial. And this whole thing has caused a lot of turmoil for the Asian community, considering that it took place during the pandemic and the people were like just freaking out, definitely taking it as a hate crime. And then all of a sudden it turns out to be a man who's crazy kind of crime. He had been determined to be unfit to stand trial after a 2019 psychiatric evaluation involving a drug possession charge that he turned himself in on. Later that day, he was arrested. He is currently being held at Bellevue Hospital in Manhattan. So I'm sure there's a lot of evaluations to go on there and to talk about what to do with him and how to handle him, blah, blah, blah. But in the meantime, sounds like a really lovely lady's light has been taken away. In addition to that, I covered Brianna Kupfer, and she was also a beautiful light that shined. People were very upset. A lot of people took it really hard at what happened to her. She was attacked in the middle of the day, and a combined $250,000 reward was being offered at the time to help Los Angeles police track down the person responsible for killing the UCLA graduate student Brianna Kupfer. During a random daytime attack at a luxury furniture store, the accused killer appeared in an LA court a day after refusing to show up. That's nice that he felt like he had the wherewithal to decide whether he was going to go or not. April 21st, 2022, the man accusing, goodness gracious, the man accused of killing Brianna Kupfer appeared in court Thursday after refusing to show up the day before. Police say Sean Lavelle Smith allegedly stabbed the 24-year-old to death while she was working alone in a Hancock Park furniture store back in January. Smith experienced a mental episode in court and did not enter a plea due to the breakdown. Smith was arrested in Pasadena back in January after he was spotted by a bartender at a restaurant who recognized him from the photos authorities distributed in their search for him and called 911. Well, good for you. Officers found Smith at a bus bench, arrested him, and turned him over to the Los Angeles Police Department. Wow. This one is just still so crazy. Sounds like both of those people were mentally ill, homeless people that, society is, and by their own choices too, not just society, has left by the side of the road. Anybody who's had any friends or has any family who has had mental illness, you know how difficult that is to treat, many times to even get the patient to acknowledge. So that all thing just came out like, I don't even know, pretty just disturbing. Next up, I would like to talk about the Trevino Brothers. And I have so many mixed feelings over this too, because it happened in Texas. Texas is a big, kill state. These are young boys. What they did was extremely brutal. But what the person did was extremely brutal. And I am by no means trying to establish that either party was right in this instance. There are so many wrongs that led up to this scenario by so many people involved in this too. And I think the government would be part of that. The Trevino brothers, Texas brothers, and a friend killed their stepdad, who was accused of sexually abusing their sister. Alejandro Trevino, 18, Cristian Trevino, 17, became enraged after learning of disturbing allegations against their 42-year-old stepdad, Gabriel Quintanilla. The Trevino brothers, the two brothers charged in connection with the murder of their stepfather, have had their bonds reduced. I don't know if being reduced means they got enough money to get him out. I know they have a lot of pull on their side, big names, celebrities and whatnot that are feeling that they need to be helped. But keep in mind, it is Texas. And I don't think that two wrongs make it right, but I don't think that, coming down on these kids like a herd of bulls is going to fix anything either. There's nothing to fix it at this point in time. And on to the next one. This one was sadder as shit, man. Christina Spicuzza. Uber driver Christina Spicuzza, Allegheny County District Attorney Steven Zapata announced Thursday that his office will seek the death penalty in the case against Calvin Crew, C-R-E-W. The man accused of murdering Christina Spicuzza, the local mom of four who was driving the Uber at the time of her death. Crew has been charged with criminal homicide, robbery, and tampering with evidence. The girl was just trying to make some money, was driving at night because she had kids to raise during the day. And her fiance, was the one who called it in. She didn't come home, and he just made this poor girl suffer, tortured her, and then murdered her. I mean, what kind of shit is that? I mean, he had the, gun to her, threatening to kill her if she didn't do this, that, and this. And we all know, we don't know, but we can figure how that can feel and the terror that you must feel knowing what's going to happen to you and you're not going to go home to your kids again. And I know this has happened to a lot of people, but this is why I do it, to keep in mind people can be so fucked up. Taylor Young. This one is going to be a far way from getting solved, I think, if it ever does get solved. I mean, if somebody doesn't come forward or some CCTV footage or something, this one may stay in the dark forever. Taylor Young's friend and family members are still trying to figure out why and how his body ended up in the trunk of his silver Honda Civic in Dallas, Texas. Young, 25, had been missing since December 9 when his car was seen at the Capital One Bank on San Felipe and South Voss Road. Surveillance video from the nearby Kroger showed his car passing through the drive-through ATM. Young's mother, Tiffany Robinson, said she tracked his phone and found it in the bushes near the ATM. Robinson said she thinks Young, who also goes by Gallardo, was running errands on his lunch break when he went missing. And that's basically the only information they've been able to come up with. And the mom is the one who's basically come up with that. The worst thing about it is they found him in the trunk of his car in a police impound parking lot. The whole thing is just so freaking weird on that one. And it's heartbreaking too. You never know when your loved ones go outside the door to say goodbye to you, to be about their daily business, if you'll ever see them again. When I was younger, I used to think of how, that was like in the wild, wild west. People would take so long to have to go somewhere, days, hours, weeks, whatever. You never really knew if you were safe because it was so uncertain just traveling. And you think that has changed now. No, it hasn't changed. It's, if anything, it's gotten worse. It's more dangerous. There's so many more people out there to prey on you. The last one for right now is going to be King Lyons. He was 4 years old, and the detective who testified King Lyons was dead when they arrived. His caretaker, Yolanda Cole, told police it had started hours earlier at about midnight. She heard a fight between King Lyons and his 9-year-old sister and saw that she had hit the child with a broom. The handle broke in half during the assault. The 9-year-old told police the broom snapped against the wall. The sister was charged with assault and later said she did not hit or injure her brother when she was later in psychiatric care. The detective said they saw Lyons had bruising and cuts all over his body, including old scars on his back, in what may show the difficulty in prosecuting this case. Most of the information in this preliminary hearing was coming from the children under age of 10. No wonder. I can't imagine she's going to act like that in front of old people. Only one potential witness referenced was an adult. 2 neighborhood children who talked to police said they saw several times where Cole would hit Lyons with an open hand strikes, and their mother stopped letting them come over after she learned of the abuse. Don't speak out, just keep your kids away, right? One child also told police they saw Cole strip the child naked and hit him with a diamond-studded belt. They also claimed one time Cole denied the child water due to potty accidents, and when she saw him drink from the toilet, she allegedly laughed and said, "That's what he gets." 53-year-old Yolanda Cole is expected in court for a preliminary hearing. She is charged with aggravated child abuse in the death of the 4-year-old King Lyons. Lyons' 9-year-old sister was later charged with assault after she allegedly beat Lyons with a broomstick. According to court documents, Lyons had also injuries that indicated long-term abuse, according to the court documents. There's nothing good to say on this. I mean, it's, children learn what they live, and who knows how aggravated or mentally ill that poor little girl was. And the end result is a young child suffered and suffered and then lost his life. And to listen to the father and the agony that the father was in when this happened, I hope that somebody is responsible and brought to justice what has happened to both of these kids. Obviously, there's something going on with the 9-year-old to be that extremely abusive. And as I said, children learn what they live. I'm not passing any judgments here, but I guess, the court hearings will bring all of that truth out. So I hoped you enjoyed some of